What's going on YouTube? I've got a really exciting knife to share with you guys today. This one's coming out of the shop of Hellion Machine Collective, the brainchild behind HMC Knives, Jim Vandevelt. Really good guy. He's kind of got his own way of doing business in that he really wants to make each knife individual to the end user. Many makers typically don't want to receive their knives back and have a bunch of changes requested to be made to them, but Jim's one of those guys that says, yeah, go ahead, pay for my spa, and we can make some changes, customizations, modifications to your knife. So that really kind of a standout feature of HMC Knives that you don't really see a lot in this industry. There's no need to modify his knives or send them off to a modder because he's willing to put in the work and kind of make that knife your own himself. So what we have here today is actually a really interesting knife that I got on trade. It is a Transient 3.2 subliner. That's what the SL stands for. This one's in Magna Cut, and he's heat treating it at 63 Rockwell. This particular knife has a really cool green and black camo carbon, as you can see here. Nice little OD green. I actually have not seen anyone else use this particular pattern on a custom knife before, so that's pretty cool. And the story behind this knife, I actually saw it on his page a couple months ago. I think it was like July of 2024. And now I have it because I traded someone another knife that I had for it. So action on this guy is incredible. A little bit of a softer detent, especially for a subliner lock. But the way that he has this detent and just everything that he has done to create this knife, it's been engineered in a way such that it's really hard to fail it. As you can tell, I'm using my left hand here, which is my non-dominant hand, but I do write left-handed, so I'm kind of ambidextrous in that way. But excellent detent. The other really cool thing about this knife is it's very, very lightweight, a lot lighter than you'd expect for a knife with a 3.2 inch blade. Yep, that's what the 3.2 stands for in the name, 3.2 inch blade. But not only is this a completely full carbon fiber frame with that inset lock right there, there's no, other than I believe in the pivot section, there may not be anything other than washers on this show side here. But on the clip side, you have the liner. And then, again, some really heavy milling on the inside. I don't know if you can see that in there. I also wanted to show some quick size comparisons between some popular knives that you may have at home. But there we have the CRJB Pyrite. CJRB. And then the Spyderco Delica as well. So it's a little bit bigger than the Delica and a little bit bigger than the Pyrite, but a little bit closer to the size of the Pyrite. All right, now let's go over the specs on this guy. Let me bring out my handy dandy ruler. Overall length, tip to butt, we're looking at about 7.5, maybe a little bit over 7.75 of an inch. The blade length, we've got the cutting edge right at 3 inches and overall length at about 3.25. And then closed, we're looking at just under 4.5. So I'd say 4.25, 4 3/8 maybe. And for the weight, get my scale out here. I'm gonna zero it out. And my scale is reading 2.9 ounces, which is pretty sweet. Right at that 1 ounce per inch of cutting edge kind of magic number that everyone likes to mention, which I 100% attribute to Nut and Fancy, who happens to be one of the people that got me into collecting pocket knives. But honestly, I don't think it really matters at this point. I mean, this knife is so incredibly light. If it weighed another ounce, I don't think I would care. But overall, just an excellent example of a transient. This one came to me in a trade, so there's some wear on the pocket clip there. But like I said, Jim is excellent with his spa work. You can actually go on his site, and I think it's $100 to pay for a spa treatment. Send your knife in, and a couple weeks later, I believe he's on hold right now because of Blade Show Texas, but you know, a little bit after Blade Show Texas, he should be able to get to your knife and make it good as new. This particular knife was not necessarily the transient that I would have gone after. Like I said, it came to me in a trade, but I do like green, and is pretty sweet stonewash that he's done, like acid stonewash that he's done on this this blade. I think it's a hollow ground as well, because it comes to a nice, really thin behind the edge. But yeah, so this carbon fiber, you know, I'm not generally a fan of full composite frame knives. I want to like them, and then I own it and I get it in hand, and it's a little bit more abrasive against your hands. It's a lot lighter than you'd expect something of high quality to feel. I know that sounds really stupid, but you know, put a really expensive watch in your hand or the key to a really nice car, and you'll know what I mean. Sometimes we equate weight or heft with value, even though it's not always the case. But this guy just feels way too light, just for my personal preference. So I'm gonna see if there's a chance. I don't know how possible it is, but if there's a chance to get some titanium scales for this guy, I mean, hell, I'd even accept some like busted up ones that didn't quite make the cut, because I plan on making this a user. I just know for me, I'm gonna beat the crap out of this carbon fiber very quickly. There's already some like faint chipping or wear from the previous owner carrying this one. One other thing I wanted to point out that was kind of interesting, and I didn't notice it till I had this in hand, but there's actually some flakes of like yellow and red and green. The red and the green are not going to show up as well on camera here, but it's almost like the Boba Fett camo carbon colors, and they just speckled little microscopic dots of it in there. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get that on camera. Maybe if I zoom in. But either way, this is an excellent knife. Again, by HMC Collective, Jim Vandevelt, the brains behind this incredible piece of machine work. And still not 100% sure how I feel about this particular variant. Like I said, I love the stonewash blade. I actually really like the black and tie hardware, which typically is not something that I go for. But I am going to see if there is a way for me to get a full titanium transient sometime in the near future. I just wanted to share my latest acquisition with you guys, give you my thoughts while somewhat scatterbrained. This is my first attempt at putting a YouTube video together that is actually enjoyable to watch. So you guys can let me know if it was or not in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to comment. Let me know how I did. Let me know if you are interested in HMC knives, if you think the Transient is a cool model or not. And hope you guys have a great rest of your day.